pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Alright, so we have all 66 of the Pokemon cards from Crimson Haze leaked. So of course we know we're gonna be getting the Urshiwana. So there is the Urshiwana. Get off my screen. Next up we have, well, the Applin, Draplin, and Hydrapple. We got the Hoosan Growlithe. Probably, I'm gonna have to say that's gonna be a chase card of mine. Then we got the Eevee, of course, with the cute little 6 Eevees. Aww. Then, of course, you've got the nice, lovely Greninja EX, which actually is we're gonna see the value of these, all of these. Gosh, my throat hurts. Purrin. We also got Crimson Haze cards, such as these. Also, we got the EX. Then we got the Terra EX for the Margot. Then we also got other cards leaked. We got the Iron Thorn. We got the Screamtail, the Greninja, the Urshiwana, one of the Ace cards, another Ace card, another Ace card. So now I'm just going to tell you about those. So now we're going to scroll down so we can actually get to the most important part of the video. The special cards. So here they are. So not a lot of these secret rares so far, so we will see the rest next week. So it looks like, I don't know when this was, so if this is now, we'll see it next week actually. So here is the Pinsir illustration rare. So we're going to be seeing that illustration rare. We're going to be seeing the Infernape illustration rare. You mean the, that's not that, is that it? Because I feel like that's Manaphy. It's a Manaphy. Isn't it Manaphy? There's Camarant, there's Hoosan Growlithe, the Applin, the Eevee. There's the Purrin SR. You got the Atlantis Assistance, then the Greninja, then the Blood Moon Urshiwana, then the Purrin. And we also have 2 more cards that were leaked, because when you think about it, there's going to be a card called Leona's Assistance. Leona's Assistance. So right here is going to be what the card will look like. So right there is what the card will look like. Right there is the SIR. So this is going to be the SIR. I could see this. I can see this. Even in English, I could see maybe $50 to $100 for this. I'm not going to expect too much, because what I expected is what we never got. So I'm not going to expect this to be expensive. In Japanese, I'm thinking maybe $1,000 to $2,000, because of how much people are kind of, well, into this, into cards like this, you know, if you know what I mean. So I'm not trying to be inappropriate. That's the truth. If you know some Pokemon fans that are adults, you would get what I mean by that. For some reason, they're just weird that way. So that card probably will be expensive in Japanese. For English, I'm not too sure about that. I mean, look at that. Who would not chase that? The design for that in Japanese is gosh dang gorgeous. It's drop dead gorgeous. You got $75 for this, so at least it's like, what, $70, $80 for it. So it's not like a bad card. Then we got EX-SIR, from Crimson Haze. So we're gonna log up these. I'm gonna see some of the EXs. $39 for that. $97 for that. Theirs is the Sinistcha EX-SAR. That is what the Sinistcha EX-SAR looks like. So that is one of the Pokemons we talked about on the channel before. We talked about that. We've covered it. We discussed what that card was. Then we got the SIR leaked. So yes, that card will have an SIR. So will Lana's Urshiwana, because of course he's like the main card of the set. So like you got Greninja, Urshiwana, Lana, and Sinistcha, and all of that. So yeah, those cards are getting an SIR, so therefore, yes, those are gonna get it. So now we're gonna go up to here, and now we're gonna log up what we call TCG Player, and now we're gonna see the value of what the Pokemon cards for Crimson Haze looks like. So the Crimson Haze set, we all know, not Crimson Haze, Temporal Forces. So we've talked about it. We've opened it up. Well, the video is coming this weekend. I've just been really busy. I've been trying to come up with more video ideas. I've been busy speedrunning Resident Evil games, trying to make more content than what I can keep up with. So I'm sorry for not keeping up with the trends and stuff. But yeah, let's just see the value of Temporal Forces. It's actually a bit of a different story now, because the Buddy Buddy Pofin is $1.65 when it's just like a common card. High to low for a whole booster box case, it's $569. The most expensive instead, it used to be the Iron Leaves, it's the Iron Crown now, which I don't know if you guys are a fan of Iron Crown, Iron Leaves, but now if you guys are, well, you guys made a good deal, because now it's $95. For any of these other ones, it's what? $76, $56, $54, $49, and the Ghastly is just going up. Alright? The Ghastly is just going up in value. This card is literally, I think this card is about to become the next, definitely. I love it. I think the artwork is great, don't get me wrong, but $40 for the Ghastly seems overrated as holy smokes. Like, just overrated as Kingdom Come. Like, it's just so overrated. I mean, the fact this Pokemon card almost got banned because of what? The actions going on here. Like, basically what Gengar is licking. Like, basically, it's true. Pokemon, some guy reported, because, well, people like that are dirty-minded. They got that this looked like him licking, well, Ghastly's. You get the whole point. So, I'm not going to make this video inappropriate. I'm just saying Pokemon actually almost banned this card in English and Japanese because of that one person reporting it. So now that card is $40. Now, I'm not saying that's why it's up in value, but don't get me wrong. I think that's mainly why that card's up in value, is because of the fact it almost got banned. And for a Pokemon to almost get banned and then not get banned, it takes a lot of recognition and effort. So, I gotta give it to him. There's the Morty's Conviction. What we thought would be the most expensive is not. That's literally not. I have the Walking Wake. The Erie's 26, the Iron Border's 27. So yeah, those are mainly all that. See, like, here's why. So we're gonna read about this, of why it went up in value, so we can kind of understand why this card went up in value. So this past weekend was the release of the new Pokemon TCG set Temporal Forces, which puts a spotlight on Paradox Pokemon from the Scarlet and Violet DLC. Unlike Scarlet and Violet 151 and similar sets that are strategically designed to hug on the heartstrings of nostalgic minerals, Temporal Forces wasn't expected to be a big draw with collectors and investors. Sure, there are high rarity cards to collect and beautiful illustrations, but all the featured Pokemon are alternate timeline re-imagings of legendary Pokemon from Gen 2 and Gen 5. This may appeal to hardcore fans of the series, but anyone who stopped playing after Gen 2 is going to be left wondering why that metal ball thing is what happened to Raiku's neck, and what happened to Raiku's neck. In short, a perfectly average Pokemon set for the Scarlet and Violet series. So it's a little surprising when one of the cards nearly doubled in price over the weekend to over $100. The three factors explain why Iron Crown's EX 206 expanded to become the most expensive Pokemon card in Temporal Forces. Its rarity, its power, and relatively popularity of the other cards in Temporal Forces. Let's start with rarity. The Iron Crown's EX rarity is a special illustration rare, and indicated by the 2 gold star symbol like all SIRs. It features full artwork with a unique illustration that doesn't appear elsewhere in Temporal Forces, and it's very pretty to look at. Special illustration rares aren't technically the rarest card in recent Pokemon sets, but the consistently gorgeous artwork they receive had made them most fans' favorite rarity, and the most expensive. Half of the most expensive Pokemon cards of 2023 belong to this rarity. The rest belong mostly promo cards that will never be available in booster packs. But printed rarity is only half the story. The actual scarcity of the card depends on the odds that any given booster pack of the set in question will contain the card. We've been monitoring pull rates for every Pokemon set in Scarlet and Violet series. Special illustration rares are harder to pull in Temporal Forces than any other Scarlet and Violet set we've seen. Whether you're trying to pull a specific SIR or just any rarity, by our math, your odds of finding a Iron Crown EX and any given pack of Temporal Forces are just 0.12%. That's with 95% confidence interval. So basically, the Salvatore is $11. The Iron Boulder that looks like the Mickey Mouse is like $23. So the card is rare, but not any rarer than the other SIRs. In Temporal Forces like Salvatore and Iron Boulder EX, to understand what makes Iron Crown EX so special, we need to look at Pokemon TCG fans are looking for this card in particular. Most of the new EX and Temporal Forces have the potential to do well in the new Pokemon TCG. As soon as the set becomes legal to play in official standard tournaments, all the cards currently in standard with an E regulation mark will rotate out, forcing all the old best decks to adapt and leave room for the new decks to compete. Nobody knows exactly what the new best decks will be, so every strong-looking card has a chance to find a spot in the emerging format. Iron Crown is different. We already know what role it will play in the new standard because it's topping tournaments in Japan since February. Yo, what? Yo, what? No way, bro. Seriously? No way. We gotta log that up. There's no way that card's doing so well. No way, bro. $22? No, bro. That's that. Nah, there is no way. That is a 20. Nah, no. I could see that, but absolutely not. Alright. So, yeah. Well, Alright. The future Iron Hands deck uses Iron Hand Crown's EX Cobalt command ability to power up Iron Hands EX, which can take an extra prize card whenever it knocks out a Pokemon with Amp you very much. Taking extra prize cards is always a busted effect. Imagine if your layups were 4th power points instead of 2, which is why Iron Hands EX was designed with a few weaknesses that hold it in check. Its high energy requirement, its high retreat cost, and its relatively low damage. Well, Temporal Forces also contains a pile of cards that mitigate or remove those weaknesses. Throw those cards together and you got a powerful, consistent deck that can compete with the best. Future Iron Hands might not turn out to be the best deck in Temporal Forces standard format, but it's definitely a contender. Most importantly, it's straightforward. Unfair game plan had made it instantly popular. As a result, Iron Hands EX has doubled in price since early February, and the low rarity version of Iron Crown EX is the most expensive double rare in Temporal Forces by a wide margin. Players don't need the special illustration rare version of Iron Hands to play this deck. The double rare version is cheaper, easier to put on your own, and has the same in-game effects. But players enjoy shiny cardboard as much as anyone, and getting to flex on your opponent with a needlessly pricey card is a pleasure many are willing to pay to experience. Relative popularity. Pokemon cards that break the $100 mark normally feature Pokemon or trainers that fans universally adore, like Charizard or Umbreon or Pikachu. Iron Crown doesn't match that description. It's a Gen... That's not 12, is it? No, it's gotta be 12. I'm gonna say 11, but I could be wrong. Introduced in a DLC expansion to a much criticized Scarlet and Violet video games. Designed as a futuristic reimaging of Gen 5 Pokemon Cobalion that also isn't especially well known or popular. Before Temporal Forces, the most Cobalion card was only worth $20 near mint. Iron Crowns has been saved from a similar fate by the absence of more popular Pokemon in Temporal Forces. And Temporal Forces had a fancy new illustration rare card of Charizard, Gengar, Lugia. We would expect that card to be the most expensive in the set, as presence would suppress the price of the other cards in the set for as long as the set remained in print. The reasons why was a bit complicated, but essentially if the singles are in the set are so expensive that fans can reliably turn a profit by buying packs at MSRP and flipping the contents, they keep doing so until the market is flooded with singles, and that expected value of each pack drops below its MSRP. This regularly happens to Pokemon sets with Charizard cards like Obsidian Flames. The Charizard card gobbles up all the value of the set, leaving the rest of the cards in the set much cheaper than they might be otherwise. The other cards in Temporal Forces doesn't have the star power to hold Iron Crown EX in check. Walking Week comes as the closest that the Paradox Pokemon relative of Suicune, the most popular of the legendary beast, but it's still a far cry from the blockbuster Pokemon like Charizard. With no bigger personalities around to lord over the set, Iron Crown is free to claim the throne for itself. Will Iron Crown hold its value? Even if nobody knows for sure, but personally I wouldn't bet on it. Even if demand for Iron Crown EX stays high or climbs even higher, the number of copies in circulation will naturally increase over the next year as fans open more packs of Temporal Forces. Plus, cards that are already beloved by players tend to lose value more easily than the ones beloved by collectors. As the metagame changes and cards enter or leave the format, individual cards become more or less powerful, and players will often overload their old playables so they can afford the new hotness. We saw this Roaring Moon EX, the chase card for Paradox Rift last year, peak over $100 after the release of Paradox Rift. When it's a key part of the spicy new deck everyone wanted to try, now Roaring Moon is considered a strong but unremarkable deck choice, and the card's price has settled down to $55. Eventually, Roaring Moon EX and Iron Crown EX will both rotate out of standard, and their price will depend entirely on how many fans want them as collectibles. The fate is currently befalling Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX and Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, which both recently hit their all-time lowest prices. It's not all doomed and gloom for Temporal Forces. However, if Iron Crown EX drops, other cards from that set may rise in response. Blaziken VMAX was released in Chilling Reign alongside Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. And as Calyrex has plummeted, Blaziken has risen to over $200. No Pokemon cards are guaranteed to hold their value. Look at the singles from Battle Styles. But if there's any hope that a card from Temporal Forces will be able to value in their 5 years than it is today, it probably lies with a card like Walking Wake EX that's more collectible than it is playable. So that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.